So the featherweight champion Ilia Topuria has been chasing a fight with Islamn Mkahakev because he wants to be a two-weight division champion. And the UFC have just come out and said, that's it. No more double champs. No more holding up the divisions. Simple as that. It's a thing of the past. It is done and gone.
Or is it?
So people like Conor McGregor, Amanda Nunes, Daniel Cormier, Randy Couture, George St. Pierre, Henry Cejudo, the king of cringe, and of course, GSP and Randy Couture weren't simultaneous champs, but being a simultaneous champion, that is a thing of the past because we know what's going on. Ilia Topuria has vacated the featherweight division. He's moved up to 155. He's chasing a fight with Islamn Mkahakev. Habib Nurmagomedov and a bunch of others said that he doesn't deserve that straight away. He's going to prove himself. We'll get to that in just a minute. But Diego Lopes will be taking on Alexander Volkanovski for the vacant strap. And this is what Diego Lopes had to say. He said they were very clear to us that they are no longer given a chance to jump from one weight class to another. If you want to move up, you have to vacate your title. This is what the UFC has said to all of their champions who are planning on moving up a weight class. They will no longer have the status of double champ simultaneously. I think in the end, it's up to each individual to decide. Now, I kind of get it. Being a two-weight division champion at the same time is a ridiculous accolade to have, and only 4 people have done that. Truly remarkable. But it does cause problems in the division. Simple as that. Now, Islam wants to go up to 170. Bilal doesn't want to fight him. Islam's talking about going up to 185. The featherweight champ wants to go up to 155. The whole thing's a shit show. Dricus du Plessis might want to go fight Alex Pereira at 205. You can't keep having this because there's always viable contenders in the weight class that the champion resides in. And what does it do? It just slows it all down. But they've just said, listen, we can't have every Tom, Dick and Harry jumping up because there's nothing to risk, okay? So they've done away with it. Simple as that. Not even an option of if you go out and dominate the division, wipe out the entire division, take out all the contenders, okay, then move up. No, simple as that. I don't know if this rule's going to stick.
6 hours later.
Did he vacate the belt, or did you guys say, if you're moving to lightweight, then we don't want to hold up the featherweight division?
No, he did that. He said, I've done everything I can do here. I'm ready to move up. And he vacated it. He said, I shouldn't be holding up anybody's opportunities. And, you know, it's always, I respect when guys do that.
Diego Lopes said in an interview that the UFC are going to try and sort of stop double champs from happening in the future. Like, so if this case happened, you would have asked Ilia to give up the belt. I don't know if that's a rule, but is that something you'd rather see guys actually vacate rather than try and do both at the same time?
Unless you think you can, you know, defend your title. Listen, if there's a guy that thinks he can do it and wants to defend both belts and has accomplished all these great things, I would have no problem with it.
So regardless of that, Topuria has moved on anyway. So him fighting at 155, Habib Nurmagomedov, one of the greatest ever, as we know, and the coach of Islamn Mkahakev, he doesn't think that Topuria deserves a shot. He said, without fighting anybody at 155, because Islam already gave a chance to people like that. He's talking about Volkanovski, right? So Habib Nurmagomedov came out and he said that he doesn't think that Topuria deserved a chance, not without proving himself first at 155.
Why Islam have to give 3-time chance for 145 champion? Why? It's not fair for 155 pounds.
Islam's already done that against people at 145, talking about Volkanovski. And yes, he did do that twice, and Volkanovski was the featherweight champion. However, this is a different scenario. Topuria has moved up, okay? He's abandoned 145. He's up to 155, and I think he deserves a title fight. Simple as that. I mean, yeah, who could he fight? A Dustin Poirier? I don't think that's going to happen. A Charles Oliveira? I mean, yeah, granted, take my money. Great fight. But does he not deserve that? I mean, to be fair, Topuria's kind of cleaned out the featherweight division anyway. When you look at the two best right now, Volkanovski and Max Holloway, knocked them both out cold. The only person that he hasn't beaten that is a viable contender, as we know, is Diego Lopes, who will be fighting Alexander Volkanovski. Now, this whole thing kind of played out, I think, for the best for Volkanovski. I love Volkanovski. He's a tremendous guy. He's a legendary fighter, one of the greatest featherweights that the sport's ever seen. But going up against Topuria again, I don't know if that was the best idea. I'm not saying that he couldn't beat him because every single fight is different. And of course, in the first one, he was coming off the back of that vicious knockout to Islamn Mkahakev. But this time it's different. He's 36 years old now. Never mind 35. Never mind that curse. He's 36. He's no spring chicken. He's not getting any younger. And he gets to go up against Diego Lopes. Now, Diego Lopes made his UFC debut against Movsar Evloev. Granted, undefeated, but he lost. Since then, he's gone on an absolute tear and he's had some tremendous performances. But Volkanovski, do not count him out of this this fight. So could you imagine this? He comes back, he fights Topuria, he gets beaten again, he retires on the back of 3 losses, he goes off into the sunset, he'll be in the Hall of Fame and absolutely revered by MMA fans all over the world. This new scenario, he goes up against Diego Lopes and potentially beats him and gets back the featherweight strap. That is a scenario that not many people saw coming. Certainly Volk, listen, he wants to take on the best people, and I respect him for that, and he wanted that rematch with Ilia Topuria because he beat him, he knocked him out, and as a fighter, that affects your pride and your ego, and you just want to get that one back. However, that ship has sailed, so now there's a real good chance that Volkanovski becomes the champion again, and then who knows? Maybe defends again, 1 more time, 2 more times, makes a few more $1 million. This, if you ask me, is the perfect scenario for Alexander Volkanovski, and it's kind of what he deserves. I mean, he's paid his dues, he's fought everybody. He stepped up to fight Islam twice in a row, and 1 time on short notice, right? So the man absolutely deserves it. And against Diego Lopes, listen, he's going to watch himself on the ground, same as when he fought Brian Ortega. On the feet, we've got to remember, this man beat Max Holloway on the feet 3 times. He's absolutely fantastic on the feet. Ilia Topuria's just got that next level power. And of course, he was a quick turnaround from when he got knocked out against Islam. So all in all, this is a great scenario for Alexander Volkanovski. Who wins that fight, by the way? Diego Lopes, Alexander Volkanovski. Let me know in the comment section. That fight card in Miami is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Paddy versus Chandler and all the other great fights that are on there as well. Now, let's just talk about those double champs. The double champs in history, of course, George St. Pierre took 4 years away from the sport, came back and choked me out. Absolute legend, one of the greatest of all time. Randy Couture also. Potential for a guy that deserves a place on the Mount Rushmore of MMA. I'm telling you, because he was one of the originals, a 2-weight division champion at light heavyweight and heavyweight, and just an incredible guy. Randy the Natural became the champion again, I think, at 46 years old when he shocked the world and knocked out Tim Sylvia. BJ Penn, this guy was a champion at 170 and 155. People forget about BJ Penn. They think about BJ and the long run of losses that he had at the end of his career. Sadly, that happens to a lot of fighters when they stick around too long. And that's how you know that BJ is a real one. In his day, nobody was beating BJ Penn. The jiu-jitsu was ridiculous. The boxing was absolutely deadly. And the athletic ability that he had was insane. He used to jump out of swimming pools onto the side. I don't know if that was real or not, but he certainly did it on camera. Daniel Cormier, DC, the double champ, of course, we know about this. Went up to heavyweight, knocked out Stipe in the first round. Nobody saw that coming. And then they had 2 more fights. And of course, 2 wins for Stipe, 1 win for DC. Of course, DC went on an absolute tear at light heavyweight as well. Certainly one of the best that the sport's ever seen. Amanda Nunes, 35 champ bantamweight and the featherweight champion. To be fair on that one, the featherweight division, it didn't really exist. There was 1 or 2 fighters there, but technically she still did it. She was a simultaneous champ, and that will never be replicated again. And then, of course, Henry Cejudo. Now, by the time you watch this video, the fights in Seattle will have finished, but I'm about to get changed right now. I'm about to head over there because Henry Cejudo takes on Song Yadong. But we got to remember the king of cringe, the Triple C, the Olympic gold medalist, and a simultaneous 2-weight division champion. Those names I just mentioned right there, they will never ever be seen again. What do you think about the UFC's decision to do that? I kind of get it from their position because it stops all their champions wanting to move up a division, just ends the conversation right there. But also as fans, it is great to see that stuff. So you never know. Never say never. That's what they've said right now, but you never know. If somebody goes out and defends the belt 4, 5, 6 times, becomes a massive global sensation. Alex Pereira defends it for another 3 or 4 times. You might see him go and face John Jones. If John Jones hasn't retired by then, or if he hasn't faced Tom Aspinall by then, I don't know what's going on with that one. We got to get an announcement on Tom versus Jones pretty soon, I would say. If they're going to fight an international fight week or something like that, they've got to announce it. They've got to start the training camps. And the fact that they haven't is giving me cause for concern. But anyway, I got to get changed. I got to get over to the arena. I got to get my suit on. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell, all that good stuff. See you soon.